gone into an epiphany lately. Basically, just sort of the weird childhood paradox in my life. From a very, very young age, I went to school, you know, first time going to school and whatnot. I mean, I knew I was, I was different. I think at the first earliest stages, by going to school and not being allowed to salute the flag, that was one of the most first key significance when I found out that I was different from everybody else. Was growing up as a Jehovah's Witness. The paradox that I'm actually trying to express here is, I would make all these new friends at school, and once school was over, they would invite me over to their house, and my mom makes cookies and we'll be able to play, and as a kid, that's very, very important at a young age to learn how to have, kids get stressed too. We may not think that, but the reality is that they get stressed, and they have their own ways to relieve that. And, sometimes an association with a friend or so kind of helps that. And it develops a child's formative association and social skills in life. And the paradox that comes in this is that I would make these friends, I'd get these invitations, and my mother would say no. They're worldly people. You don't know what they do. They're not part of the truth. And that's when I started to kind of paste the picture that I was starting to really become different. Earliest memories would be I wouldn't be able to associate in anybody's birthday cake, or any type of holiday stuff, though I secretly did, because some friends in the classroom who did know kind of sucked me in some pieces. I'd be like, thanks, dude, thanks, But yeah, there's that. And then what happened, from those early stages, a loneliness, a very deep loneliness starts to develop. And that's where I think the self-esteem issues start to stem from. The self-loathing, you start to feel people don't want to be around you. And then, over the years, I tried, to go to the meetings, but I always, gave my mother a hard time. I gave her a hard time. I would scream and fit and fight, because this was the very thing that didn't let me have a normal life, or at least some sort of. I hear people have their childhood memories of them hanging out with their friends. I don't have that. The memories I do have and I do cherish are in my later years, in my later teens, with my best friend Jacqueline. She's one hell of a woman, and she was the one that really opened my doors and my eyes. It took 10 years, but it took its time. We both had a love for similar things, for similar books. Books of which, as a child, I had to hide from my family because, I'll name such books as The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien is one of their favorites. Especially when the movie came out, the first 3, they didn't want me to see that. They'd give me some nice money to help me out, and I'd go see it. So, anyway, it doesn't matter. I don't care. Anyway, but what happens is that depression started to form from there. I really started to withdraw. I started to withdraw into myself. I didn't want to go to school because the social skills really sort of didn't develop. I felt awkward. I, there were, a lot of the kids, kids, how they are, they all make fun of kids for whatever reason or whatnot, and I couldn't, for some reason, cope with that. Uh, there's a lot of factors. I couldn't. I feel that as a young child and then growing into the teenage years where this all kind of melded in, it really makes an impact. Um, so, since I wasn't really allowed to kind of, at least when I was growing up, my brother was raised slightly different because I think that it was towards the end of when we were really practicing. But when I was growing up, at least, I really wasn't allowed to join into any other after-school activities such as drama or the arts. So when I was growing up, any creative energies or activities, I would sort of just kind of withdraw it into myself. Now, again, a lot of people, who are witnesses, such as my aunt, would tell me, oh, you can't blame how you were raised in this religion on it. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can. And here's why. The recovering zombie makes a good point in one of her videos, and I cannot remember which one for the life of me, but that when a child is brought up in a doctrine or in a religion, they don't have a choice. They don't have a choice to change their religion. They don't. They're not allowed to. At least when, especially with the Jehovah's Witnesses case. They are brought up from the moment they're born, when they're very little babies, they're brought up with everything that's intact. And they're not given a choice. So, now that I'm going to be, now that I'm a grown woman, now that I'm grown, I now have that choice to do so. And I think that, like I said, but a lot of that expression just now as I'm an adult, I'm just starting to kind of express. It's very hard for me. As you can see, I'm not very good in camera. I'm not like J.W. Ferry where he's all in a basket. I'm not. I'm just myself. I'm just trying to somehow, right now I have like a little screen and I just have a little bit of my thoughts here. But anyway, I just wanted to share that perspective that, in a way I'm thankful that I kind of went through all this because, there's a lot more in my adult years. Everything comes together. But now I just wanted to share that paradox with you because that's an interesting paradox that I found in myself that I can now collate or at least compare. And I kind of thank you for listening to that.